see only on 2 tonight. Another southern suburb with chaotic confrontations at City Hall.
We've told you about the ongoing investigations over spending in Dalton, often causing blow-ups between the mayor and residents. And tonight, tensions boiled over in Harvey.
How dare you send your police after peaceful residents?
Business owners there say they're being slapped with unnecessary fees, but city leaders say they need the money. CBS 2's Charlie tomorrow live for us in the control room, hearing from both sides tonight. Charlie?
And Joe and Erica, some of the frustration in Harvey is over the mayor's plan to collect on delinquent property taxes. Some of the business owners we spoke to today say their business licenses have been withheld in exchange for a fee, calling the program extortion.
But to us, this is where everything started.
Benicia Gonzalez hasn't been able to open her auto repair business in South Suburban Harvey since May.
From one day to the next, we were forced to shut down, and the sign was put on our window.
The shop, which has been in Gonzalez's family for over 2 decades, had its business license renewal denied because they owe property taxes.
I'm doing everything that I can in my power to pay these tax bills that was left behind, but you know, I'm only 24 years young, and I'm doing what I can do.
Harvey business owners in a similar position were offered a settlement agreement with the city. Pay $2,500 a month and keep your business open.
Come on, if you don't mind coming in here.
We caught up with Harvey Mayor Christopher Clark as he left a special city council meeting.
The only thing we're asking is for those businesses to pay their property taxes and stop using our city services for free.
It's unethical, right? I can't say it's illegal, but it certainly seems unethical.
Harvey Alderwoman Colby Chapman, a vocal critic of Mayor Christopher Clark,
I don't have any discussion. I just want you to
Thank you very much.
Says the underserved suburb is at times dysfunctional.
Serve the people and know that we're elected to be here for the people. So
Pastor Jonathan Johnson says he was in disbelief when he was told his church would need to register for a business license.
it was almost $700. I said, where did this come from? We are federally and state exempt from taxes, and I really do feel like it's more of a dictatorship here in the city of Harvey at this point.
How dare you send your police after peaceful...
Minutes into the city council meeting, someone in the audience was removed by police at the direction of Mayor Clark. Officers handcuffed the man and led him out of City Hall.
I'm the chair, and I am responsible for keeping the order. If people in the audience or in the council do not want to keep that order, then they will be removed.
I'm calling on every state official. We need help. We need strong oversight.
And Mayor Clark says safety is the reason that churches now need business licenses. Without one, he says that the city is unable to inspect churches. Reporting live tonight in the control room, I'm Charlie DeMar, CBS 2 News. Joe and Erica.
Thank you. We first showed you this exclusive video last night. A man taken out of a chaotic city council meeting in handcuffs. It happened in South Suburban Harvey.
Only on 2 tonight, that man shared his side of the story with our Charlie DeMar. He's live in the newsroom for us right now. Charlie?
Joe and Erica, and tonight we have that man's cell phone video, his perspective of the entire incident, and he claims there is no reason that he was placed in handcuffs. Just minutes into a Harvey City Council meeting Thursday,
Come on, get those cameras out.
Ryan Sinwelski was taken away in handcuffs, cited for disorderly conduct. After he was released, he shared these pictures of his wrists.
Grabbed my neck, what you saw in the video, like extremely aggressively. They were just super rough with my hands, way rougher than they needed to be.
Sinwelski was standing and recording the meeting on his cell phone. This is his video.
Right.
He could be heard commenting and reacting to parts of the meeting.
The next item on the agenda is the chair will entertain.
That's when Sinwelski says,
Then all of a sudden I just felt this police presence out of nowhere.
Harvey police officers approach and ask him to leave.
They're trying to make me, they're trying to kick me out of the meeting right now.
There is nothing wrong with your recording, but please come to order, or you will be removed.
Nothing said out of order, nothing, no profanity, nothing rude. This is pure intimidation.
You know what? We don't have to do this. Remove him, please.
How dare you? I didn't want to just go out quietly because it's like, hey, I'm not doing anything wrong or illegal. There's no reason for you to remove me out of this meeting other than you don't like me.
What's going on?
Sinwelski says he believes he was targeted for participating in and documenting a rally earlier this week opposing Mayor Clark's policy of collecting fees from businesses with delinquent property tax bills.
It shouldn't have to take people getting arrested, myself getting arrested to get attention.
We asked Mayor Clark about the incident.
I told him that filming was permissible, but he needed to come to order. He did not come to order.
Mayor Clark loves to tell people they're out of order. He tells it to everybody. Basically, it just means, I don't like what you have to say, shut up.
And today, Ryan filed a complaint against those officers who detained him. He says he was in custody for a few hours before he was released with that citation. We are live tonight in the control room. I'm Charlie DeMar, CBS 2 News. Joe and Erica.
Questions remaining now this morning after shocking video shows people being boarded up inside their own apartments in Harvey. CBS 2's Asal Rezai in the newsroom to break this all down for us. It's just unbelievable video.
It is, Suzanne, and the question right now is, how did this happen in the first place? Harvey police tell us the city has been contacting the building's owners about unsafe conditions there since October. Take a look at this video, which shows community activists breaking down the boards put up on windows and doors of the complex. You can hear them at one point shouting for people they believe could be trapped inside. This is the video we're talking about, could have been seen already circulating on social media. One mother tells us she got stuck inside with her 2 small children. They were scraped up after she had to push them out of a window to escape. A 73-year-old man showed our crews the door handle to his screen door was broken off by construction crews as they boarded up his apartment Friday afternoon. He was unaware at the time he was being trapped inside.
I'm used to the noise when they starting to do some construction some type. Didn't pay really that much attention. After a while, I sort of drowned it out.
Now, Harvey police say no one was evicted prior to the boards going up. Tenants there tell us, eviction or not, they have nowhere to go. That's why they've stayed put. We've tried reaching out to the building's owners, but have not heard back yet. I'm live in the newsroom. Asal Rezai, CBS 2 News.
Man, that's 73 years old, boarded up in here.
Tonight, outrage and confusion after Chicago area residents say their apartments were boarded up while they were still inside, something the building's owners deny.
They broke the handle off the door?
This video shared with NBC Chicago shows James Williams desperately trying to get to his uncle Rudolph, trapped behind the plywood and nails at an apartment complex in Harvey, Illinois.
Nephew called and got me on the door and said, "You boarded up in here." I said, "What?"
Rudolph says the boards were put up over the doors and windows last week, shutting him inside until bystanders were able to pry off the boards.
And I asked the people, I said, don't y'all do a awareness check? There's people inside these houses.
They came and just started boarding up the crib while people was in the crib. They didn't even care or nothing.
The city of Harvey says a mandatory evacuation was ordered by October 28th, releasing photos showing problems with the apartments, including crumbling stairs, trash and debris, along with other structural damage in a post on Facebook. The city also denying it carried out evictions, saying they'd communicated with the property owners about unsafe conditions, adding it was the owner's responsibility to notify tenants.
I never went through this in my life. I never seen nothing like this.
The building's owners telling NBC Chicago they alerted tenants via, quote, various channels and coordinated the building's shutdown with their management company and the city, adding, quote, allegations regarding tenants being boarded into their apartments are categorically false.
I called when I got the letter dated December 14th. I called.
One tenant saying she did receive a letter but thought it was a fake. Anger over the situation boiled over at a city council meeting this week, with 2 aldermen being escorted out. Harvey's mayor saying the city followed protocol and communicated with the owners, and that it was the owners who hired a company to board up those units.
We did not tell them to board up the building. We did not tell them to do any of that. Those were private decisions that people make on private property.
The mayor saying he plans on asking the state attorney general to decide if legal action is needed.
I want justice for these people out here, man. They older people.
But the tenants say they need solutions now.
Getting cold out here. Where we supposed to go?
It is cold, and that's the big question. Stephen Romo joins us now. So, Steve, where do they go?
Yeah, a great question. Many people say their stuff is still inside those units and they don't have anywhere to go. They're asking for answers, and we saw the frustration in the piece from local leaders. They also don't have any solutions for this problem. As for the buildings right now, they've been told that they are unsafe. The property owners, it's not clear how they're going to be fixed or what's going to happen next with them. We're trying to get more answers from those owners, and it's yet to be seen.
All right, Stephen Romo for us. Stephen, we appreciate that.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
To play in the south suburbs. A former Harvey police officer is indicted. But as CBS 2's Shermont Terry explains, could his brother, the former Harvey mayor, have played a role?
All is quiet here at Harvey City Hall, but the feds keep shining the light on what the Kellogg administration did here. The former mayor's brother, Derek Muhammad, is accused of shaking down towing companies in order to do any business in Harvey. Nearly 3 years after federal agents raided Harvey City Hall and the police department, the corruption continues to unravel. New federal documents show a grand jury indicted Derek Rick Muhammad for extortion and bribery. This is Muhammad in 2019 in all black after the feds charged him with obstruction of justice after doctoring a police report to hide a gun in a towed vehicle. Muhammad worked as a Harvey officer for 8 years until the raid. He oversaw the department's traffic unit, where he had exercised discretionary authority to assign City of Harvey towing work to local private towing companies. And the feds claim it was pay to play for years. They say Muhammad obtained cash payments and other things of value from private towing companies on the understanding that the private towing companies were paying Muhammad and individual A. If those funds were not sent his way and to the unnamed person, it would interfere with the ability of the private tow companies to compete for City of Harvey towing work. And while the indictment doesn't name former Mayor Eric Kellogg, another one of Kellogg's brothers, Romel Kellogg, and the second man, Corey Johnson, were arrested for extorting payments from a strip club. They turned an eye to prostitution for cash payments. Now Muhammad faces his own extortion charges. And with so many in former Mayor Kellogg's inner circle, not to mention family members, getting charged by the feds, Kellogg himself has never been charged with a crime, but it remains unclear if it will stay that way. In Harvey, Shermont Terry, CBS 2
dominating tonight's Harvey City Council meeting with fiery comments from both residents and city officials.
People should know what is exactly happening, and we don't know that, and I live right around the corner.
It should have never happened.
Even though I didn't make the call, I didn't make the decisions, even though I wasn't aware, I'm still an alderman, and that made me just as responsible too, so I deeply apologize.
Okay, we're going to try.
Mayor Christopher Clark telling the room city would make changes to existing ordinances to prevent anything like this from happening again, singling out 2 alder people in his comments.
I bring the ordinance before you, Tracy Key, Coach Chapman. I wish you would read it, and then after you read it, I wish you would support it.
Alderwoman Colby Chapman speaking out against that comment. Mayor eventually saying she had been out of order, asking police to remove her from the meeting.
Frustrating and frightening situation in South suburban Harvey. Some residents there are still living in boarded up apartments, even after concerns over unfit living conditions and ongoing crime have come to light. CBS 2's Sharday Gray is digging in to find the owner of the property, who they hired, and how exactly this all happened.
The city confirms a letter was sent to the owners of this property to notify their tenants they have to be out by a certain day. But some tenants say they didn't get that letter.
But it's the letter.
The letter that the property manager was supposed to notify all of their tenants to leave by December 29th.
But they didn't give us the letter. They put the letters on certain people's doors. Everybody didn't get no letter.
The letter was sent December 14th by the City of Harvey's Director of Building and Inspectional Services. He confirmed over the phone the letter was sent to the building's property owners because of deteriorated balconies and stairs. The letter goes on to say extensive deterioration could lead to failure with added load of snow. The city's Director of Building and Inspectional Services says ongoing crime on South Halstead Street since October was also a concern. But the city had nothing to do with boarding up residents.
I don't think that's right at all.
Genevieve Tyler has lived in this apartment complex for 4 years. Friday, she was inside her apartment when she heard people outside of her door.
I was at my door. They didn't even knock on the door. They just started boarding up. And once I seen them boarding up, I went out on my balcony right here. And once I walked down the stairs, they just started boarding up all the cribs.
And they boarding these apartments up. Video circulating on social media shows the crews going door to door, plastering the boards on the windows and doors.
When they don't care to talk to your property manager, that's all they kept saying.
We reached out to them Saturday. No reply. So we called them again.
Calling Chicago Style Management. We are currently closed. If this is an emergency maintenance issue.
Tyler says her only option is to stay in her cold apartment.
I cried all yesterday. I can't even cry no more. But I don't know what to do at this point. I don't know. I don't want to leave because I don't have nowhere to go. I don't want to sit outside in the cold. So I'd rather sit in here. It's cold in here. Or I'd rather stay in here than it is outside.
We've reached out to the owner of this property as well as the company that boarded up this building, but we have not heard back. We will continue to press them for more answers. Reporting in Harvey, Sade Gray, CBS 2 News.
Sade, thanks. Tyler tells us 6 of the 30 units in that complex received that letter she was talking
An elected official from a south suburb arrested in jail today, saying the city's mayor is to blame.
This political feud is in Harvey, and WGN's Jenna Barnes joins us live from outside the police department there with more tonight. Jenna?
Ray and Micah, Harvey police are not backing away from the arrest of Alderwoman Colby Chapman, even though she was released without being charged, and she calls the arrest an abuse of power.
I'm in the back of the police car. The video is slightly turned because I'm in handcuffs.
Harvey Alderwoman Colby Chapman streaming on Facebook Live in the back of a police car Wednesday morning.
Stated that I filed a false police report, which I did not.
Held by Harvey police for hours, then released without charges. In an arrest, Chapman says was politically motivated.
I've always used my platform to stand for the residents here in the 2nd Ward and serve the city of Harvey. And I believe overall my servitude is agitating to certain pieces of the administration.
The Harvey Police Department has come to the conclusion, but only after having arrested my client and having my client stay in custody for in excess of 5 hours, that they didn't have a basis to arrest Ms. Chapman.
The arrest for an alleged false report stems from an incident between Chapman and the Harvey City Administrator in August, captured on this surveillance video. She was arrested then, too.
I simply am here to do my job, and I simply just want to be able to do that as opposed to being arrested, falsely targeted.
Chapman points to her criticism of Mayor Christopher Clark as the reason for her arrest, criticism that's gotten her escorted out of city council meetings. This is video from one of those instances earlier this year.
I've worked adamantly to get questions answered, and specifically around our financial landscape. Those questions are always met with some authoritarian rebuttal.
WGN News called the mayor for comment. His PR representative sent a written statement, including this quote from Harvey's police chief, reading, "Filing a false report wastes valuable resources and undermines public trust. While it's unfortunate the Cook County State's Attorney, Kim Fox, chose not to prosecute her sorority sister, Colby Chapman, our investigation clearly shows a contradiction in Chapman's claims."
We should be thankful that at least one, person in the Harvey Police Department realized it was not advisable to continue to just follow the blind instructions from a mayor who doesn't have the power to direct, people being arrested to begin with.
Though no charges were filed today, police tell us their investigation into this matter continues. Chapman's attorney tells us he plans to file a federal civil rights lawsuit as early as this week over this arrest and more. We're live in Harvey tonight. Jenna Barnes, WGN News.
Many professions in this country has seen staff shortages in recent years. Chicago police lost more than 1,000 officers last year to resignation and to retirement.
WGN's Brona Tumulty sat down earlier this month with Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart. He gave her a closer look at on how he trains his recruits and the future of the force.
We're the ones answering all the calls, so we better learn it.
Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart has been doing this job a long time, and some years back decided to up the ante in terms of training for those wanting to work here.
To give them skill sets to deal with the realities of the real world.
It's a rigorous process, says recruit Griffin.
It's going great. It's been a roller coaster for me.
And recruit Diaz know all too well.
A lot of push-ups, a lot of running.
It'll keep you fit, there's no harm in that. They're two of the people who'll start serving within the county jail system this year, having passed not just a physical component, but also undertaking an in-depth look at mental health and how to deal with that on the job.
What are the things we need to do to make sure we have all those tools?
The Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board currently requires 200 hours of training for recruits, which will increase to 320 hours come the 1st of July. The Cook County Department of Corrections Academy demands 800 hours to include things like crisis intervention training not mandated by the state.
I want well inmates and I want well officers, and that starts from the top down.
Daniel Morjal helps teach that CIT program.
And there are different types of depression. I would like the right professionals to be in the right places at the right time.
But having those professionals in place is becoming harder because the number of people signing up for a career in law enforcement is down. 2021 recruits for the correctional program here were at 346. That number dropped last year to 179, and year to date we're at 120. On the police side, things look slightly better, with 102 recruits in 2021, 158 in 2022, and 103 so far this year. Dart says it never used to be that way, with a queue at the door in days gone past.
People would line up outside buildings overnight just to get the application.
But adds it's not just law enforcement facing shortages.
Restaurants, take your pick, any type of business. There's signs everywhere that they're looking for people.
And feels with the extra emphasis teams like his are putting on training people the right way, it's only a matter of time before things turn around.
People understand that a very well-trained, very thoughtful law enforcement agency is a great future, a great position to be involved with. So I do think it'll come back.
Bruna Tumulty,
I didn't make the decisions, even though I wasn't aware. I'm still an alderman, and that made me just as responsible too.
A seemingly divided and heated Harvey City Council meeting.
One could assume that the city of Harvey at large had some peace in it.
This building that was uninhabitable on 144th and Halsted was deemed uninhabitable by professional, certified code enforcement officers. Hear me good, and I didn't interrupt you, and don't interrupt me.
As the city council was addressing the concerns at the apartment complex, tensions flared between Mayor Christopher Clark and two alder people.
You think I'm singing this? You don't have to accept me.
Ending with both alder people escorted out of the chambers.
Put a little babies.
This comes as tenants back at the apartment complex today received food and portable heaters from Andrew Holmes and other community leaders.
There you go. Thank you.
While still living in despair.
Who does this to human beings?
Mark Montgomery says he doesn't know where he'll be living in the coming days or weeks. This after Harvey City officials claim his property owners began boarding up these apartments Friday due to what the city calls unsafe and dangerous living conditions. Some tenants tell us they were still inside of their homes at the time of the board up.
Felt lost, lonely, depressed, scared.
But tonight it seemed to be a blame game about who called for the property to be boarded up. Mayor Clark says it was the property owners, but the owners over the phone claim it was the city's call.
They'd have to have a conversation with me on that because I haven't heard that from them. Once again, it's private property, and then they decided to take action on their own.
And tonight there's still no word on when or if the tenants will have to move.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to ABC7 Chicago Eyewitness News.